like all action would stop. So we stopped using the trail cams, and a lot of times our trail cams would get whited out, whether there's a beam that's so close to it that it makes it white out, or whether there's some kind of outside electrical interference that some people have suggested.
Mm-hmm.
But basically we do have cameras and camcorders, and we have recording equipment. We also have a bionic ear that my wife uses, and we go out and set the recorder up as soon as we get into camp so that it's on 24/7, and then we go through and mark any points where we hear a sound, and then go home and put it on the computer and sit down and listen to it and see what we can pick out of it.
Why do you... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Regular camping equipment.
Okay. Since there's so little known about Bigfoot, how does one learn the proper procedures of investigating the existence of this elusive creature?
We're following the ways that the Native Americans have learned over the years. And we have some friends that have interaction that are Native American. And we go through you have to go at it as a real respectful manner.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to you're in their house. We're going there as visitors into their house, and you don't go in shooting guns off, and you don't go in and we don't carry guns at all. All we have is bear mace, and we haven't had any problems with bears, so that's been fortunate too. But we just go in real respectful and just try to be kind of as calm as you can, and just kind of act like you're not out kind of looking for them. You don't have your cameras out pointed at everything that moves in the weed, in the brush and the weeds, and so.
Why hasn't there ever been, in your opinion, a Bigfoot cadaver found in the woods?
It's believed, and we've gotten reports that people believe that they bury their dead,
mm-hmm.
and we've had kind of, I guess you'd call it a report where a man said he found some bones and turned in the bones to local law enforcement,
right.
And he goes back up and all the bones have been removed. And it's just stories like that. But we do believe that they bury their dead, and things in the forest, they decompose, and all the different little critters and microorganisms, they eat stuff up pretty fast in the forest. If you're a carcass like a deer left out in the woods, it disappears pretty fast.
Have you checked with the good people at the Park Services and the game wardens to see if they've had any sightings? And if so, what have been the results of that investigation?
No, we haven't. It's kind of you don't really want to consort with them too much, because it doesn't seem like, we do have some areas where we've
mm-hmm.
gone and into some of these parks, and some people have they got their little sighting boards of the different animals,
mm-hmm.
and they've had one that had a Bigfoot on the sighting board, and we asked the ranger about it, and they said, "Oh, that's just somebody joking around." So, I think at one level they know that they exist, but they don't want it known that they know.
Why not?
It's kind of a big kind of a cover up.
Why?
What would you do if you're taking your family camping out in the woods, and there's this big 10-foot tall hairy creature that might come around your camp at night and might even come around during the day. Would you take your wife and your little kids out there? Not a lot of people would.
Well, first of all, I've never heard there be a conspiracy to suppress the information about Bigfoot, because if there is a conspiracy, aren't you wouldn't the powers who are suppressing the existence of Bigfoot actually be doing something against the scientific community? Like, should we know the existence of this creature or not? And for anybody to say that they're actually there without the physical proof, I find that rather unsettling.
Yeah, I'm no scientist. I'm just
mm-hmm.
just a guy that goes out and tries to get interaction with them. The whole science aspect of it, that's kind of beyond me.
So what are you trying to accomplish?
We're just trying to get different. Basically, this summer, we've been trying to take account. We go to different areas and try to see if we can get any kind of interaction and any signs in these different areas that are possible Sasquatch locations. And each year, the number of our different areas kind of grows here in Colorado, and we get different reports from different hunters. Hunting season's a good time of year that we get a lot of reports in, people out, making reports and talking about the Sasquatch, or talking about what they think is a possible Sasquatch.
So with all these hunters and the Fish and Game authorities, as well as other law enforcement, I'm sure you must have a lot of loggers in that part of the world. Am I right?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. There's most of the logging right now is going to the deforestation of the pine beetle. They're going through cutting down the trees that have been destroyed by the pine beetle.
But where you guys go, there's a lot of people who go to the woods. Am I correct? Or the remote?
Yeah, it's pretty much major camping areas.
Yes,
some areas are pretty remote.
So my question is, if you have all these people, and we're not just talking about in Colorado here, I'm talking about throughout the United States and Canada and other places where Bigfoot is purported to be, and with all the research that's going out and being conducted on Bigfoot, still no proof. And yet so many of you still go out all the time trying to find this, up until now, mythological creature. What drives you? That's the question I'm going to ask you when we come back from this news break. Stand by. Exonation Jeff Yelek is our guest this hour. He is with the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies. And Jeff and I will be back on the other side of this news break as we continue this hour here in the X Zone talking about, you're right, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. We're talking about the one and the same. Apparently, tall, hairy. More about Bigfoot when we come back. Don't go away. Hi, this is Rob McConnell, just letting you know that the X Chronicles newspaper is now available online at www.xzonebookclub.com. All past editions and current editions of the X Chronicles newspaper are available for 99 cents. That's www.xzonebookclub.com, and that's 99 cents U.S. per edition. And don't forget, the X Zone store is now open as well for all of your X Zone Nation merchandise. www.thexzonestore.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Jeff Yelek is our guest this hour. Exonation. Jeff is with the Sasquatch Investigations of the Rockies. Their website is www.sasquatchinvestigations.org. As I was saying before we went to the commercial break, there are so many researchers throughout the United States, Canada, who are all looking for Bigfoot. And, you guys go out, the work you do comes straight out of your pockets. You're the most dedicated group of people that I know. But yet, with all of you out there, there's not even been any trace evidence or any hair evidence that's scat. And if Bigfoot was out there, wouldn't somebody would have found that physical evidence that they could take to the different scientific organizations that are available, who will actually do the verification of the evidence that you guys find? And you find stuff, it's brought to the scientific community, and yet, after all these years, no proof. What keeps you guys going?
It's kind of the thrill of the search. We go out and we do find some hair and different scats, and we save them, and we got some hair saved up, and lately there's been a big Jeff Meldrum's asked for different hair samples as long as they're related to a certain area that that the Sasquatch are at. Lauren Coleman with Crypto Mundo has been asking for hair samples also. But the biggest thrill of it is you're going out there and you're looking for something that nobody else believes in, and you're getting interaction with something in the forest. You're clacking rocks and they're clacking rocks back, and there's something there that won't let itself be seen. And it's the biggest thrill that you can imagine. And me and my wife, we go out and we keep it just me and her, a lot. Just me and her go out, and a lot of things happen when you're around camp, and that a lot of people just don't believe.
Like what?
We've been touched. You're laying in our tent at night, and my wife had her back towards the side of the tent, and last summer, and she felt a hand push on her back, or something pushed on her back, and it wasn't no other animals out there that would be pushing on the side of the tent. And I had heard bipedal footsteps by the side of my tent, and my wife had to go out and water the bush at 1 o'clock, and she went out and did her business, and she came back in, zipped up the tent, and got in her sleeping bag, and then something had walked down the front of the tent, 1 o'clock in the morning, and it sounded like a finger running down the side of the nylon tent, and just kind of zip down the front of the tent real quick. And at times like this, you just kind of lay there and you just kind of wait to see if you hear anything else. And the most traumatic experience happened to me is I was with our group, and it was just me and Michael Johnson in his outfitter's tent. And they put me in the corner of the tent. They says, a lot of people have been touched here, and they're sleeping in this corner because it's right next to the woods are thick right behind the tent, and the Sasquatch can get up close to the tent. And I'm laying in the tent, and it's about 2 o'clock, and I can hear the brush kind of moving around outside, and I'm just kind of half awake, half asleep. I don't know, the wind's probably blowing. And so I'm nodding off, and all of a sudden something from outside of the tent, I believe it was on the ground or something. We seen some scuff marks in the dirt the next day, but nothing to point to what it was. But something came down and put its hand, I believe it was its hand, down on my head and pushed my head into my cot. And I jumped out of my cot with a loud whoa. And Mike was on the other side of the tent. He got up and, what's wrong? I said, I think I just got touched. Something pushed my head down in my cot, And that it really wakes you up that there's something there, and it's playing with you. And the next morning we didn't see any real evidence of it.
Right.
It's like the ghost of the woods, but there was something there, and something physically touched me.
To your knowledge, has anyone ever been physically harmed by a Bigfoot?
Not that we've come across any reports that nobody has. And there's been instances, and I've had rocks thrown at me when we're out researching, but nothing, physically hit me. And there's no researchers that we know have been harmed by them.
Wow. So have you ever come across a living area where you believe Sasquatch may live? And if so, what does it look like?